YouTube.com/Tim Westwood TV.
Westwood Radio 1. Yo, so here I am, you know what I'm saying? Growing up in New York City, you know, in the 80s. A lot of cracks, a lot of crime, all of that. I'm in Jamaica, Queens, home to LL Cool J, Run DMC, you know what I'm saying? Russell Simmons, you know what I'm saying? All these MCs is coming up doing their thing. And, you know, I'm coming up, it's 85, 86, and of course we got the fever. I'm in high school, and in my high school is this cat, Brother J from X-Clan, this cat Mike G, who went on to become Mike G from the Jungle Brothers, and this kid Phil, who went on to become Africa Baby Bambaataa from the Jungle Brothers as well, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad. We all went to school together, and we was just rhyming and battling dudes on the train and going to like all of the legendary clubs. And it so happens that from going to one of these clubs called Union Square, Mike G's uncle was DJing there, and he was this famous New York City DJ named Red Alert. And Red Alert heard Mike G and Phil rhyme and gave them a deal for the Jungle Brothers, and they put out their first song, Jimbrowski. And that's how I got my introduction into the game. I worked on their album, Straight Out the Jungle. And one of the first songs that I ever mixed, the first song I actually touched in the studio was Straight Out the Jungle, the title track. So let's do the fossil print of Q-Tip right here. Let's play Straight Out the Jungle from the Jungle Brothers.
Educated man.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Q-Tip. We back right here, Westwood Radio 1. And you just heard, you know, Straight Out the Jungle and Jungle Brothers. And moving along, you know, after the Jungle Brothers jumped off, you know what I'm saying? You know, I made a little noise. I had this other song on the album called The Promo, and I did this other song on the album called Black is Black, both which got heavy radio play, you know, in New York. And then we eventually, A Tribe Called Quest, we were up next to bat after De La Soul had their success and Jungle Brothers had their success. We kind of like clung together, and we formed this crew called the Native Tongues. And we weren't signed, and we had a bidding war, and it was Def Jam, and it was Warner Brothers and Jive, and we wound up signing the job because we really dug Houdini and all that Thomas Dolby stuff. So we did this this record, our first single, which came out, and it was called Description of a Fool. I want to get into that. Yo, what's up? This is Q-Tip. I'm back. That song you heard right there is Description of a Fool, which is the first single off of our album, our first album, People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm. And right now, I want to bless y'all with this song that we had a lot of fun doing. This song. It samples an old rock tune from this cat named Lou Reed, this famous bass line. And our song was called Can I Kick It, but I want to play like the little remix joint if we got it, you know what I'm saying, of Can I Kick It off of the album People's Instinctive Travels in the Paths of Rhythm. What's up, y'all? It's Q-Tip. I'm back. You know, we put this first album out, People's Instinctive Travels, the Paths of Rhythm, and then we got a lot of buzz around it. We had a song, Bonita Applebum. We had Left My Wallet, El Segundo. We had, you know, people was buzzing about the album. And then I heard an album by these kids from LA. Their crew was called NWA. And they put out an album called Straight Outta Compton. And that sound just knocked me out. You know what I'm saying? And I just heard it sonically. And I was like, man, I gotta make something that's up this, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make something that's up with this sonically. Because back then, at this period, we was all riding around in our cars and the systems was knocking and we put big speakers in and it was just loud and bodacious and we was shaking the streets up and that album was rocking. So I was like, I got to make something with a lot of low end. And I just stuck to that title. It just kept coming back to me, that influence of that album. And I was like, I'm going to call this next album The Low End Theory. And I don't know if y'all heard about it, but that was one of our more popular albums, was the second album. And people were saying that back then you'd have a sophomore jinx if you put an album out. But I think we kind of bucked that whole theory. Our first single off of the Low End Theory was a song called Check the Rhyme. I want to get into that right now. What up, it's Q-Tip back, Westwood Radio 1, you know what I mean? And we just like going through it, you know what I'm saying? We're here on the Low End Theory side of things. You know, there was some tunes on there that really stuck out to people. Bugging Out, we got the jazz. But one of my personal favorites was one that really spotlighted the talents of a group from New York City called Leaders of the New School. And in particular, a brother who's very, very dear to me. His name is Busta Rhymes. This song kind of like really put him on the map. And it's off of this album called The Low End Theory. This song is called Scenario. Check it out.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo.
Yo, what up? It's Q-Tip. We back. You know what I'm saying? That was the Scenario. You know what I'm saying? By the way, you know, if you want to check out these albums in their entirety, by all means, you can download them. The first one is The People's Instinctive Travels. And this one that we just listened to these two songs off of is Low End Theory. And at this moment, you know, we were getting a lot of popularity from off of this album, The Low End Theory. It came out in 1991 in September. And we went gold, and then right after that went platinum on this album. It was like our biggest selling album, and we went on tour with Public Enemy, and, you know, things were taking off for us. And I kind of, when I was doing these records, I was seeing, if it sounds funny, is I was seeing how it sounded. In other words, like I was seeing it like a painter. So the first album and the second album kind of had the same tenets in it. And I was thinking about this third album and, you know, how I wanted to do something that was an extension of it, make it a sharper second album. And one of the things I said on one of the records on Low End Theory was, my name is Q-Tip, the Midnight Marauder. And that title kind of just stuck with me because we listened to a lot of our music at night. I did my beats. I was like a notorious insomniac. I rarely slept, which isn't something I suggest for you kids out there to do. Get your rest and eat your vegetables, and then maybe you won't make an album like this. It's called The Midnight Marauders. I want to get into the first song off of it. It's called Award Tour. I really, really dig this one. Here we go. What's up? It's Q-Tip. We back right here. This album, Midnight Marauders, you know, a lot of people talk about the cover of the album because we had a whole bunch of different artists. We had a photo shoot in Los Angeles and New York City simultaneously. On the cover, you could see people like the Beastie Boys, P. Diddy, Pharcyde, Ice-T, just a whole bunch of people, and they all have these headphones on and they look like they've been hypnotized and stuff. So I think the thing we were trying to say was that hip-hop has this hypnotizing effect on people. At that time, it was really popular. It was 93. Actually, to give you guys some background, Midnight Marauders came out on the same day as Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers. And Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style came out a week after that. So that was just a very heavy time for hip-hop. I think, you know, taking myself out of Tribe and not really looking at it from an egotistical point, I think those three albums were probably, like, in that short period of time, were probably the most impactful time in hip-hop for me, I think. I want to throw to a song on this album called Oh My God, with my man Phife Diggity Dog on there. Yo, what's up? It's Q-Tip. We back. You know what I'm saying? Westwood Radio 1. You know what I mean? So we enjoyed a lot of success off of these three albums. You know what I'm saying? People's Instinctive Travels, Low End Theory, and Midnight Marauders. And when we put this album out, Midnight Marauders, I was also working with a brother by the name of Nas on production. I produced those three albums, and you know, I started working with Nas on Illmatic with Premier and Pete Rock, and then later on I started working on Mobb Deep's album. So I was kind of like checking out the scene, and I was really taken by Nas. And then I met this kid, Biggie Smalls. Puff introduced me to him, and and my man Lytro let me hear his demo, and I was just like, wow. I was really taken with it. There was a lot of things going on. And I met this brother when I was on tour by the name of Jay Dilla. And he played me his stuff of this group, Sun Village, and I thought that he was just incredible, and I just wanted the world to hear his music. You know what I'm saying? So I started working with him, first managing him, trying to sell his beats and stuff like that. And then I was like, man, I got to just let him get his shine off. So I brought him in on the fold and let him get busy on the production on our next album called Beats, Rhymes, and Life. This is a transitional period for us. You know what I'm saying? I converted to Islam personally. I brought JD in. You know what I'm saying? Biggie had just started popping off, and we started to see his rise. And, you know, I just want to get into a joint off of this album called Get a Hold. Yo, what's up? It's Q-Tip. We back right here. Westwood Radio 1. Yeah, so we here on Beats, Rhymes, and Life. You know what I'm saying? Also on this album, you know what I'm saying, I brought in my little cousin Consequence, who works with Kanye West closely. He collaborates on a lot of his stuff. So, you know, he was in the fold. So there was a lot of things happening around this album, Beats, Rhymes, and Life. You know what I'm saying? And we were feeling some strains from the record company. The tides were changing. Pac was blowing up at this period. You know what I'm saying? And the whole solo MC thing had started taking hold, and groups were becoming a little bit archaic and passe. But, you know, we were still here. Wu-Tang had not really put out another album, I think, properly since then. Maybe they came back with Forever, which did okay, but they had since put out a whole bunch of solo outings. So that kind of just spread that whole idea of the solo MC, and the whole group thing started to deteriorate. And speaking of deterioration, a little bit of our, you know, chemistry was happening at this period, but we moved along, and we put another song out off of this album, and it's called Stressed Out. It's featuring Faith Evans. So we want y'all to check this out real quick.
I really know how it feels to be.
Yo, what's up? It's Q-Tip right here on Radio 1 Westwood. So I'm gonna try to wrap this up for y'all real quick and give y'all what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you've been listening, you've been hearing everything in a little bit. I've been giving you a little brief history of what it is. After this album, Beats, Rhymes, and Life, we decided that we were going to just, you know, break up and be no longer. We felt that we had explored everything we had to musically, and the record label was changing, and times were changing, and Big was murdered, and you know, it was just Pac was actually murdered at this point, and then right after we put the album out, Big passed. So it was a lot of different things that was going on, you know, bling and players and all this money and all this stuff, and Tribe wasn't really of that. So we kind of felt the wear and tear of that, and we decided to call our final opus The Love Movement. And one of the first songs off of this was a song called Find a Way, and I want y'all to check this out.
Messing me up my whole head, teasing me just like.
Yo, what's up? It's Q-Tip back right here. You know what I'm saying? With my man Westwood Radio 1. And you know, after the Tribe moved on, you know what I'm saying, I did my thing, got my little solo jumps off, you know, all that, you know what I'm saying? Did it with my man Dilla. Me and him collaborated. We did the Amplified album, which spawned Vibrant Thing and Breathe and Stop, you know, and then I have been here, and I'm here right now with my new album. Finally, it's called The Renaissance, you know what I'm saying, after all this time. So I'm still here kicking, you know what I'm saying, doing it, kicking the tires, seeing if this thing could ride up the road, you know what I mean? And I'm just happy that you guys were able to sit here with me and go through this little brief history. with this stuff. So I want y'all to check out this song right now off of my album called The Renaissance. It's called Life is Better, featuring Nora Jones, where I go through the list of a lot of MCs from beginning up to now. I think it's appropriate. I hope you do too. We putting it down, man. We shaking up the whole UK, man. It's your boy, man. Oh my goodness, Westwood. Y'all don't even understand what it is, how much of a privilege it is right now for me to be touching down with this great man right here. Radio 1, man. BBC. Hip hop the way it needs to be. My man Westwood, man. What's good?
YouTube.com/Tim Westwood TV.